What is going on, all of you Hedgehog and RPG fans out there in the world? I am Mega Am, so thank you for checking out this video, whether you are a new or returning viewer. Appreciate you being here, and this is going to be a fun topic for today. I know it's like monthly Sonic quota has got to be met at this point, and this is going to be a less formal video, more of just like a kind of think piece, like what if, right? Because I actually didn't even realize this came out of Good Vibes Gaming. I do follow the channel. Go follow them if you're interested. They were the ones who got the scoop on this because Ash Paulson over there, he at Summer, I think it was part of Summer Game Fest, during the coverage for the upcoming Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, they actually got to do an interview with the head of Sonic Team, being Takashi Iizuka, of course, who we've mentioned plenty of times on this YouTube channel. And there were some interesting things that went into there about like different questions that were asked. And one big thing that came out of that interview, I haven't even watched the full video, go check it out if you're interested. I might leave a link to this in the description below. But specifically what came up that was really interesting, that pretty much all these news sites like IGN reported on, this is the IGN article here, was talking about how Takashi Iizuka mentioned that he would want to make a Sonic RPG before he retires, which is interesting because it's like, okay, most Sonic fans, especially casual fans, might be like, oh, that'd be really cool to have a Sonic RPG. We've technically had a Sonic RPG before in Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, but it is a much lesser known game. It is kind of an infamous game for having a really bad cliffhanger that was originally supposed to set up a sequel. Check out the Did You Know Gaming video about the sequel, and like it was a planned trilogy, I guess, from BioWare of all people, who worked on like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, all those games under EA. They were the ones developing, they developed the first game, and they were going to make a whole trilogy, apparently, according to Did You Know Gaming. So check out that video, too, if you're interested. That was a really interesting listen there. But yeah, we've had a Sonic RPG before, but like, trying to think in the modern context, what would a Sonic RPG be like, right? Because that was back on the DS, so it's been like almost 20 years since Sonic Chronicles came out. We can review that in a bit, but I want to kind of go through the article first and kind of see what Takashi Iizuka was saying. He really likes role-playing games. There you go. Interview with Good Vibes Gaming, Iizuka was asked if he would work on a Sonic RPG in the future. He said he was interested in doing so, and shocked Sonic Team had yet to do it. Because yes, technically, like I said earlier, Sonic Chronicles was BioWare. Sonic Team was not involved with that as far as I'm aware. They were probably consulted on like lore reasons and stuff, because that was shortly after. That came out in 2008, I believe. That was shortly after like Sonic 06, and like back when they were still doing a lot of the different characters. That was pre-Sonic Colors, so that was still back when, before their kind of cleansing period, I like to call it, with Sonic Colors, where they cut a lot of the characters in the lore back. He's saying he really likes role-playing games. The RPG format is a lot of fun. Even thought to myself, for the past 30 years, we haven't done a Sonic RPG. So SEGA has published one, but Sonic Team themselves has not developed one. Questioning myself, why haven't we done a Sonic RPG in all this time? How have we got to 30 years and no RPGs? Because, I mean, there's been, I don't know, I don't think Sonic, because there's been so many other genres, right? I was thinking of like, if I want to make this video talk about other Sonic genres too, like that could be brought back, because we had Sonic Shuffle on the Dreamcast. I don't think that was developed by Sonic Team. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. I think that might have been Hudson Soft who did Mario Party. I could be wrong on that though. I have no idea. Obviously another infamous game for not being great. We've had the Sonic Racing games with the All-Stars Racing games with Riders, and if you want to go really far back to the Game Gear, we had Sonic Drift 1 and 2. There's been a lot of different genres for Sonic already, and plenty of mobile games like auto runners and puzzle games and stuff like that. But there's been that one RPG with Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, but that was, like I said, that was BioWare. That was not developed by Sonic Team. Iizuka said he would hopefully get to work on Sonic RPG before he retires. He's getting up there in age. I mean, he's not super old. He's getting there, but he's still got some years left in him. Made it clear there was nothing concrete at the time. Right, so obviously he's not confirming anything. He's just hypothetically saying, I would love to do a Sonic RPG. And I, honestly, I've mentioned before on this channel, if you've been around here, I'm not the biggest RPG fan, but I think they could do it, especially with like some of the interesting ideas that Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood had, because that game gets a bad rap for its horrible soundtrack, which we're listening to right now. Some of the songs are okay, but mainly the remixes of older songs are rough. Like Green Hill Zone right there. I don't know what they were doing on the DS. Like, what is this song right now? I don't know what's going on. And then, of course, the cliffhanger ending, like I mentioned. So I'd like to hopefully work on a Sonic RPG at some point before I retire. It's just a dream right now. There are no concrete plans. I hope they do it. The only Sonic RPG right was Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, a 2008 Nintendo DS game. However, Mass Effect and Dragon Age developer BioWare worked on the project. In our review of Dark Brotherhood, IGN wrote, "There's fun to be had, and the game does pick up after..." Heck yeah. after the first few hours, but we'd be surprised to see many DS gamers get behind Dark Brotherhood while there are so many superior role-playing games on the platform. Yeah, it's really not. Yeah, there's a good design here somewhere. It's just lost in the shuffle of it all. I get it. Yeah, it's the game itself. We can get into it a little bit, but just shout out to FC Long Plays for this video here, kind of going through the game itself, just the very beginning of the game. It is very text heavy, which is interesting for a Sonic game. Granted, it is an RPG, so I guess that kind of makes sense that it would be. But also just like it's a little clunky. It relies a lot. It reminds me of like Phantom Hourglass in the way it relies so heavily on this hat is crazy. Gotta fix it. It relies so heavily on the touch mechanics. It really goes deep into like the touchscreen gimmicks with like using the stylus to move around. Certain attacks, certain special attacks you do in the battles in the game are pretty touch heavy, and the overworld exploration is pretty basic. So it's really not that great of a game. I think the background lore is the most interesting part. This is also a very contentious game because for those of you who don't know, some of the characters in this game, like Shade and that whole Echidna clan, are technically, I believe, owned by Ken Penders, because Ken Penders, as far as I'm aware, was involved. And as a result, I don't think they can use any of these characters anymore. At least that's how I understand it. Correct me in the comments if I messed up any of those details. But it's one of those things that's like, I don't know, it's a sore spot, which is, I mean, not that the game's that high quality, so they probably wouldn't re-release it anyways, but it's definitely like contentious among the Sonic fan base. So the game itself, it's like, I enjoyed playing it when I was younger, and I ended up beating the whole thing. But it is a little clunky. It is a very basic turn-based RPG. Now, I think there are some great things they could do nowadays. I would love for them to do a action RPG for Sonic. I think that would work so much better. I mean, Frontiers itself is like, it has super light RPG elements to it. Like, just expand upon that and actually make it like action RPG combat. I think that could actually work really well. Turn-based still could work. It'd be a little more clunky, I think, which, I mean, they tried it here, so I feel like action would just fit Sonic so much better. The closer the Sonic team got to incorporating RPG-esque elements in a Sonic game was the Sonic Adventure. All right. Implemented some RPG elements. I don't know if I'd agree with that. I mean, I guess kind of like the overworld exploration getting upgrades. I guess I could kind of see that, but I feel like that's a bit of a stretch to call it RPG-esque elements. I would say with like the skill tree and everything involved in Frontiers, I would personally say that's more of has more RPG elements than Adventure, but neither really do. In a cut commentary for Adventure DX, Iizuka explained that after work on Nights into Dreams, he approached Naka proposing Sonic Adventure to be an RPG. See, that I did not know. This is cool. Is this another IGN article? Wow, okay, they did their research here. Make a Sonic Adventure all aspects. Wow. Yeah, we wanted to make an RPG-style Sonic game. This I did not know. Okay, so this was right after Nights on the Saturn. Wanted something bigger on a bigger scale, heavy emphasis on story, something we all felt was missing in the Sonic games, and eventually became Sonic Adventure. Right, that's interesting. Okay, that's a cool fun fact that I did not know about Sonic Adventure, so there we go. Despite Sonic Team not making a Sonic RPG, the development studio has worked on role-playing games, including the aforementioned Nights into Dreams. Nights into Dreams is not a role... What? Okay, what? Nights into Dreams is not a role-playing game. Phantasy Star Online, yes. I don't know why they're grouping Nights into Dreams in terms of role-playing. That doesn't make any sense. Don't listen to that. But okay, interesting. So yeah, this is all a hypothetical article, right? In that interview with Good Vibes Gaming, of course, was all hypotheticals. But I want this really to be a discussion piece of what we could see in a Sonic RPG. Like I said, I think an action RPG would make a hell of a lot more sense. Like, I don't know, something more along the lines of like a Final Fantasy VII remake, or like, I don't know, some of the Yakuza games. I mean, the Yakuza studio could make it. You know what I mean? RGG Studio could make it. That would be really cool. Like, make an action RPG with that studio. I think they could do really well. I know they've been doing turn-based lately with the Like a Dragon series, but like, back to their roots and do it with Sonic. I think that could really work. And of course, having the emphasis on story would work. I mean, you get Ian Flynn, who wrote the story for Frontiers and from the comics, get him involved. Like, RPGs especially, like the really good ones, build upon the lore in that way. And he is like a masterclass of lore building when it comes to Sonic. So like, I think he would be a really good fit for an action RPG. Like, I'm trying to think of how they would do turn-based. I don't even know if a turn-based RPG would be received well. Let me know in the comments below if you would buy a turn-based Sonic RPG. I think that'd be interesting, but I don't know if it would sell that well. And I just don't know if it fits Sonic as well, because Sonic's all about going fast, right? Like, if you're limiting the combat to turns on actions you have to take, that's part of the reason why I wasn't a big fan of Sonic Chronicles. I liked it mainly because it was Sonic. As a kid, I would play it. You know, if I went back nowadays, it'd probably be tough to get through. Still better than Sonic Battle, but you know, that's besides the point. I don't know. I think an action RPG would work a lot better. Now, the other option, and listen, Sega, if you want to take baby steps, you know, work with Capcom, work with Bandai Namco, work with Monolith Soft, and give me my Project Cross Zone 3, please. Listen, I just need another excuse to mention Project Cross Zone. Shout out to Blazer Sora for this walkthrough video of the beginning of Project Cross Zone 2. You could always test the waters. Now, granted, this is a very different kind of RPG. This is a strategy RPG. More so along the lines of Fire Emblem, but the combat is a lot more flashy with different moves, which I think would work well for Sonic. Like, you could take the template that was established with Sonic Battles battling mechanics, apply that to the battles in a strategy RPG like this, and then of course just the grid-based navigation of the maps. I think would be really good. So it's possible. Listen, I just want a Project Cross Zone 3. Put Bayonetta in there. Let Bayonetta interact with Dante. That'd be great. Put the Sonic characters in there, because for some reason they weren't in the first two games. They just had a bunch of other more humanoid characters, which I get they were going for, but like, come on. Throw them in there. Make it wacky. It's time. I know Project Cross Zone 3 will never happen, but I would love it. And if they do it, they better put Sonic and Tails in there as like a duo at the very least. And Eggman as a villain. That's all I'm asking for. I just wanted to shout that out again. Yeah, like, I really think this could work. I think a Sonic RPG could totally work. The hat is gone. I just don't know if I don't know if it'd be turn-based. You know what I mean? I don't know if that would really, like, action RPG would just make so much more sense for Sonic. Keep that sense of momentum, but into combat, I think that could work really well, especially because Frontiers already with those different moves and skill trees, like, you have some of that set in already. You know, just add more RPG elements, really make it that action RPG that with an even heavier emphasis on story. And I think he'd have a recipe for success there personally. So Iizuka wants it. I would honestly play it for sure, especially if it was an action RPG. Turn-based, I would consider it. But, you know, it is kind of crazy that is the only attempt, considering how big, you know, RPGs are, and considering Sega is mainly a Japanese company. But, you know, maybe one day. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another one at some point in the future, you know? Listen, all I'm saying, RGG Studio, get them on an action RPG Sonic game. I think they'd be perfect for it. With that, though, that is going to do it for this quick little just kind of talk piece video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you buy a Sonic turn-based or action RPG? Let me know your thoughts on Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood as well, because I'm probably never going to talk about that game ever again. But definitely let me know your thoughts on that if you liked the game, if you didn't, and what you thought of this interview if you listened to it. Anyways, that's going to do it. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you all on the next video or live stream. And until then, keep going fast, but RPG style, of course. You got to limit the mechanics. See you later.